Okay, so today we are going to be talking about graphing from a table with linear equations. Now, these tables are not going to be fully filled out, so we're going to have to figure out. Hold on, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So we have to figure out basically what's happening in the table so that we can continue that pattern and finish filling out the table. Okay? So, for example, on number 1 here, the y values are going down 2 each time, right? Goes from 7 to 5, that's going down 2. So it's going to continue that pattern since it's linear. It's going to keep going at the same rate. So like the next number would be 3, and then it would be 1, then it'd be -1, then -3, then -5, so on. Now the x values, on the other hand, are going up by a point from -2 to -1. So it's adding 1 each time. So that one would go to 0 next, then 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to do. Okay? Then to graph these, we're just going to figure out these points, right? This is an ordered pair, -2, 7. And we're just going to graph those points. So -2, set, +7. Go to the right axis. It's that point right there on the graph. Okay, I'll zoom in here a little bit so you guys can see better. A little bit, I mean a lot bit. Okay, so I just graphed -2 and 7. Okay, next point was -1, 5. So you go to -1 on the x, up to 5. There's the next point. Next point was 0, 3. So 0, 3. And then it was 1, 1. And then it was 2, -1. And then it was 3, -3. And 4, -5. Okay, so these are the points from that table there. Okay, and we're just going to continue to the that line to the edges of the graph so that we have a nice linear line. Okay, zoom back out here so you guys can see I matched those points and graphed them on the graph there. Okay. It's about as hard as it gets, really. There are some trickier ones, though. I guess I can do those. And I'll do one more regular one, and we'll do a couple of the tricky ones. So looking at like number 2 here, the y's are going down 3 from 8 to 5, so -3. And the x's are going down 2. So as we go through, like the next y's are going to go down 3 each time. So 2, the -1, the -4, the -7, the -10. And then the x's are going to go down 2 each time. So 4, 2, 0, -2, -4. Okay, so when you graph that, you'd go to 8 and 8, 8, 8, that's right there in the corner. And then 6 and 5 would be right there. And then 4 and 2. And then 2 and -1. Okay, then 0 and -4. And then -2 and -7. And -10 doesn't fit, so we're not going to bother graphing that last point there. Okay, so just connecting those dots, and there's my line. Pretty tough, right? It's as hard as it gets. Okay, now let's look at some of these trickier ones. So like number 3 is one that I would call tricky, because when we look at this, the y's are actually going up 4, right? So that's not very tricky. It would go to the 0, 4, 8, 12, 16. A couple of those points wouldn't fit on our graphs, but that's fine. But this side, -2 to -2, the x didn't change at all, right? So it changed by 0. So it would stay at -2 the entire time. Now there's nothing really wrong with that, but like when I graph those, -2, -8, -4, 0, 4, 8, these points just form a straight line. It's just a vertical line. If your x doesn't change, that's the undefined slope that slope dude talked about, right? So that's an undefined line there. The x doesn't change. Okay? And likewise, like on number 6 here, the y's aren't changing, right? So they would just stay at 3 the entire time. Okay, and the x's are going up by 1, so I mean that's not very hard to count. But if I were to graph those points, it would be like -6 and 3, and just all these points right here. It's just a horizontal line right here. So if y doesn't change, it just produces a horizontal line, or the zero slope, right? So that is how you graph from a table. Okay? If you have any questions or concerns, ask your teachers. We're here to help. We want to help, and I'll see you guys out there.